your side.
I'm Olivia, a 32-year-old virtual reality game designer living in San Francisco's vibrant Mission District. My life, until recently, revolved around lines of code, late-night brainstorming sessions, and the hum of my computer fans. My loft studio, perched above a bustling street filled with taco trucks and street artists, was my sanctuary. The walls were plastered with concept art, storyboards, and sticky notes scribbled with ideas for my next big project. I'd spent years carving out a name for myself in the tech world, designing VR games that didn't just entertain, they transported players to worlds so vivid they forgot the real one. My latest creation, Shogun's Shadow, a samurai-themed VR adventure, had become a cult hit among gamers for its immersive storytelling and meticulous historical detail. The game caught the attention of Cortec, a Japanese tech giant known for its cutting-edge VR hardware. They invited me to Tokyo for a meeting, and after weeks of negotiations, we signed an $8 million contract to develop an exclusive VR platform based on Shogun's Shadow. It was the kind of deal that could redefine my career, putting me on the map alongside the biggest names in tech. The signing took place in a sleek boardroom with floor-to-ceiling windows, Mount Fuji looming in the distance like a silent witness. The Cortec executives were all business crisp suits, measured words, and a quiet intensity that made every handshake feel like a vow at the end of the meeting. Instead of a check or a wire transfer, they presented me with a ceremonial gift, a samurai mask, or memph, from the Sengoku period. It was a work of art, its lacquered surface painted in crimson and gold, with intricate carvings that seemed to pulse with history. They explain that it was a symbol of our partnership, our nod to the cultural roots of my game. I held it in my hands, feeling its weight, both literal and metaphorical. This wasn't just a deal. It was a moment that could change everything. I flew back to San Francisco, the mask carefully packed in my carry-on, my mind buzzing with possibilities. I couldn't wait to show it to Ethan, my husband of 5 years. Ethan was an archaeologist, a scholar of East Asian cultures whose passion for ancient artifacts rivaled my own for code. Our apartment was a testament to our shared obsessions. My VR headsets and prototypes scattered across the living room, his shelves lined with scrolls, pottery shards, and books in Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. He'd always been my rock, the one who'd listen patiently as I rambled about buggy algorithms or impossible deadlines, offering quiet insights that somehow made everything clearer. That night, I set the mask on our dining table, its crimson face catching the light from the chandelier. Ethan's reaction was everything I'd hoped for. His eyes widened, and he reached out, his fingers hovering over the mask as if afraid to touch it. Olivia, he whispered, do you have any idea what this is? This could be worth millions. I laughed, pouring us both a glass of Pinot Noir. More than our mortgage, I bet. He smiled, but there was something in his expression, a flicker of intensity I hadn't seen before. He suggested we have the mask appraised to confirm its authenticity, and I agreed without hesitation. Ethan was the expert. After all, why would I doubt him? The next morning, I woke to an empty bed. Ethan's side was cold, his pillow undisturbed. I called out, thinking he'd slip into his office to study the mask. But the apartment was eerily quiet. The dining table was bare, the mask gone. In its place was a note, written in Ethan's precise handwriting. Olivia, I'm so sorry. I need this to save my life. Please don't follow me. My heart stopped. I read the note again, then again, hoping I'd misunderstood. But the words didn't change. I grabbed my phone and checked our joint account. Empty. Every cent we'd saved together, nearly $200,000, had been withdrawn overnight. I rushed to the bedroom, yanking open the drawer where we kept our passports. Mine was still there. His was gone. I stood there, the note crumpled in my fist, my mind reeling. Ethan, my partner, my confidant, had stolen the mask, cleaned out our savings, and disappeared. The man who'd kissed me goodnight, who'd promised to build a life with me, had betrayed me in a way I couldn't comprehend. The shock was like a physical weight, pressing down on my chest. But I didn't cry, I didn't scream. Instead, something else took over cold. Sharp clarity I'd honed over years of solving impossible problems in code. I wasn't going to let him get away with this. I wasn't always a game designer. In my early 20s, I dabbled in behavioral analytics, building algorithms to predict user actions in virtual environments. One of my side projects was Tracepoint, an app designed to track player habits in VR games, where they moved, what they clicked, how they reacted under pressure. It was a powerful tool, one I tested on Ethan years ago, with his permission, using a smartwatch I'd given him for his 30th birthday. The watch wasn't just a gift, it was a data hub, logging his location, heart rate, even his typing patterns on connected devices. He'd called it my nerdy spy gadget and left, but he wore it every day. Now, it was my way back to him. I sat at my desk, the city waking up outside my window, and fired up Tracepoint. The system pinged Ethan's watch immediately. He was in Nevada, moving at high speed, likely in a car on some desert highway. I dug deeper, cross-referencing his digital footprint, a plane ticket to Las Vegas, booked under his name, a series of encrypted messages to someone named Marla. My stomach twisted. Marla Voss, my old college classmate. She'd been an art history major, always a bit too ambitious, too willing to cut corners. We'd been friendly and never close, and after graduation, she'd vanished from my life. Until now, I hacked into public databases and scoured X for mentions of Marla. It didn't take long to piece it together. She was running an underground operation, dealing in black market artifacts, stolen vases, manuscripts, relics from cultures most people only read about in books. Ethan wasn't just a thief, he was her middleman, using his expertise to authenticate and move stolen goods. The mask wasn't a random theft, it was his ticket to something bigger, something dangerous. The logical move was to call the police, but I hesitated. This wasn't just about the mask or the money. It was personal. Ethan had betrayed me, and I wanted to look him in the eye when I caught him. More than that, I wanted to outsmart him. I'd spent my career building worlds where players thought they could beat the system, only to find I'd anticipated their every move. Ethan was no different. To get close to him and Marla, I needed a disguiser persona that would open doors without raising suspicion. I spent the night crafting a new identity. Yasmin Demir, a Turkish billionaire with a passion for rare artifacts. I used my VR design skills to build her world-fake social media profiles filled with photos of exotic vacations, a LinkedIn page detailing her art acquisitions, even a fabricated article in a niche art journal about her latest purchase, Eming Dynasty Vs. I dyed my hair jet black, swapped my glasses for contacts, and practiced a subtle Turkish accent, recording myself to perfect the cadence. I studied videos of wealthy collectors, mimicking their posture, their gestures, the way they carried an air of untouchable confidence. For backup, I activated Ars, my AI assistant. Ars wasn't just software, it was a physical prototype, a humanoid robot I'd built as a side project, with its sleek frame, expressive face, and advanced natural language processing. Ars could pass for human in low light or a crowded room. I dressed it in a tailored black suit, programmed it with a backstory as my bodyguard, and synced its systems to my neural interface, a discrete earpiece that let me issue commands silently. Ars wasn't just a tool, it was my partner in this mission. I looked at myself in the mirror, Yasmin staring back. The transformation was complete. I wasn't Olivia anymore, not yet. I was a billionaire, a collector, a woman who could walk into Marla's world and turn it upside down. Marla's operation was based in Las Vegas, centered around an underground auction in a derelict casino off the strip. The place was a ghost of its former glory, all faded neon and chipped paint. But inside, it buzzed with the kind of energy only money and secrets can create. I arrive as Yasmin, my heart pounding, but my face a mask of calm. Ars trailed me, its sensors scanning the room for threats, its movements so smooth it drew no attention. The auction was a shadowy affair, dim lights, hushed voices, buyers from Dubai, Moscow, and Shanghai, all cloaked in anonymity. The samurai mask was the centerpiece, displayed on a pedestal under spotlight, its crimson face glaring like a warning. The auctioneer, a weary man with a fake British accent, opened the bidding at $2 million. I raised my paddle, driving the price up to $5 million in minutes. My bids sharp and deliberate. I wasn't here to win the mask, not yet. I was here to unsettle Marla. I'd coded a custom algorithm the night before, a signal jammer designed to disrupt the auction house's authentication devices. I activated it through my phone, sending a pulse through their Wi-Fi network. The screens around the room flickered, spitting out error codes, and the auctioneer's voice faltered. Whispers spread like wildfire. The mask might be a fake. Marla, standing at the edge of the room in a sharp blazer, her blonde hair pulled back tightly, looked rattled. She signaled to her team, and the mask was pulled from the auction. She approached me directly, her smile tight. Ms. Demir, I understand you're a serious collector. Would you like a private viewing of the piece? I nodded, playing the part of the aloof billionaire. I prefer to inspect my investments closely. She led me to a black SUV, and ours followed, its presence reassuring. We were headed to her warehouse, and I was one step closer to the truth. The warehouse was a fortress in the Nevada desert, all concrete and steel, surrounded by barbed wire and cameras. Inside, it was the treasure trove of stolen history, crates of vases, statues, scrolls, and relics from cultures spanning centuries. Marla led me to a secure room where the mask sat under a spotlight, its crimson face almost mocking. Ethan was there, his face pale and drawn, poring over a laptop. He didn't look up, didn't recognize me under the wig and the accent. My heart ached for a moment, but I pushed it down. This wasn't the time for sentiment. I asked pointed questions about the mask's provenance, keeping Marla talking while ours discreetly hacked the warehouse's security feed. I needed evidence, something undeniable. Then I made my move. I pulled off the wig, letting my real hair fall, and dropped the accent. Surprised, Ethan, his head snapped up, his eyes wide with shock. Marla froze, her composure cracking. Olivia, she hissed, realizing the trap. Before she could react, I activated a live stream through Tracepoint, broadcasting the scene to a global network of heritage protection agencies. Every crate, every artifact, every guilty face was now live for the world to see. You thought you could steal from me and disappear, I said, my voice steady. You underestimated the wrong person. Ethan bolted for the door, but I'd anticipated that. With a voice command through my earpiece, I locked the warehouse's electronic doors, trapping him inside. Marla screamed at her guards, but ours was already in motion, disarming them with precise, calculated movements. Sirens wailed in the distance. My live stream had reached the right people. The police stormed in, cuffing Marla as she spat curses. Ethan stood frozen, his shoulders slumped, the fight gone out of him. I could have pressed charges against Ethan, could have watched him dragged off in handcuffs, but that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted him to face the consequences of his choices, not just in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. I had him sign a legal agreement relinquishing all claims to our shared assets, our apartment, our savings, everything. I uploaded a copy to X, along with a detailed account of his betrayal. The internet did the rest. Within hours, his name was trending, his reputation as a scholar shredded. Universities distanced themselves, colleagues cut ties, and his career evaporated. The story exploded across media outlets. I was invited to give a TED Talk where I spoke about betrayal, resilience, and the power of using your mind to outsmart those who underestimate you. I called it when a traitor hides behind intellect, use wisdom to lead the way. The talk went viral, shared millions of times, and I leaned into it. I wasn't just a game designer anymore. I was a symbol of standing up and fighting back. A year later, Ethan's living in obscurity, scraping by with no prospects. His name a cautionary tale in academic circles. I don't think about him much anymore. I've poured my energy into maskless games, my new studio. Our first project is a VR experience about truth and identity, where players navigate a world of deception to uncover hidden realities. The motto, play without hiding. It's a reminder to myself and the world. The best way to win is to be unapologetically you. I walk into my new studio every morning, the San Francisco skyline sparkling through the windows, and I feel alive. The mask is back where it belongs, donated to a museum in Tokyo. Its story a footnote in my own. I've learned that disguises can be powerful, but the real art is knowing when to take them off.